welcome to Devotions for, for Friday, January 20th. I'd like to start with a little quote I read the other day from Jan Richardson. Joy has a way of meeting us in the most complicated places, how it comes as a strange grace that enables us to stand in the midst of sorrow or pain or chaos, to acknowledge and name them while refusing to let them have the final word. Joy asks us to trust that something is at work in a way we cannot see clearly, but in which we are asked to participate, that we may be part of how it arrives. The devotion today is from Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? One thing I asked of the Lord that I will seek after, to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. He will set me high on a rock. Now my head is lifted up above my enemies all around me, and I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud, be gracious to me and answer me. Come, my heart says, seek his face. Your face, Lord, do I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger, you who have been my help. Do not cast me off, do not forsake me, O God of my salvation. The Christ in Our Home devotion title is Sacrifices of Great Joy, with the focus verse on verse 6, I will offer in his tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. The counterintuitive open secret that generous people know is that sacrifice is accompanied by great joy. Giving until it hurts usually hurts so good. The reward is greater and lasts longer than any pinch of pain. Have you ever stretched your budget or time or energy beyond what you thought you could afford? Why did you do that? There's a good chance it had to do with love, which is the steep and scenic pathway to great joy. The psalmist offers sacrifices in God's tent. Why is God in a tent instead of a temple? This offended King David, but God did not want a fancy house. God is happier making sacrifices for us, camping in the wilderness to be with God's refugee people. Later, as the Greek in John's Gospel puts it, God became flesh and tented among us. John 1:14. Jesus is God's new way of being with us, God's extravagant sacrifice to achieve reconciliation with humanity, which brings God great joy. When we respond to God's generosity with our own, we experience joy too. Please join me in the prayer. Generous God, open my heart and hands in generosity until I taste great joy. Amen. Our prayer concern is for generosity of spirit for ourselves and others. And before we go, just the final blessings. You could not stop it if you tried. How this blessing begins to sing every time it sees your face. How it turns itself in wonder merely at the mention of your name. It is simply how joy works, going out to you when you least expect, running up to meet you when you had not thought to ask. It's a quote from Jan Richardson. So blessings on your day, farewell, and we'll see you soon.